This episode of Broken Bones and Bullshit is sponsored by Ozcan Rural and Outback Drovers Co. So, what year was it you headed over to the States?
When I turned 18, I actually been there when I was 16. My sister lived over in Canada, and we went a little bit in America, but not much, I just went there holidaying. Yep, went over and seen him, and she was working for a rope horse trainer at the time, and Lloyd Nittery, his name is. He had a lot to do with probably teaching me how to rope later on in life, for sure, and went over there and caught up with them guys when I was 16, 17. Yeah, that would have been right. And then the day I turned 18, I flew back over and I was like, I'm out of here. Yeah, yep. So that was 18 onwards pretty much. Pretty much every year after that, yeah. Yep, other than COVID, obviously. Yep.
And you just fell in love with the States?
Yeah, I think, I went to Canada a lot, and that was good. I think if I could redo it again, I would go to Texas. I think, like for the pro rodeo side of it, it would be a lot beneficial for a younger guy to go to Texas, where Canada is a lot, like, not racking on Canada, but it's not as probably professional as America at this stage. There is a lot of good cowboys that come out of Canada, and there's a lot of good rodeos in Canada, and probably obviously Calgary and all that, and Calgary's something to see if you've never been there, and yeah, so there's probably benefits in each situation, but if I could do it again, I'd probably go back down to the States quicker. Yeah, for sure. And when I finally got to America, I seemed to fit in and get going a lot quicker than I did ever in Canada. Yeah, for sure.
And did you find, like, because how we spoke on before, how serious you take it, and that you're related to some of the Americans a bit more with how sort of serious they take it? And
yeah, for sure. I love their way in general, and it's good over there because well, for starters, it's a job over there. It's a job, eh? Like, it's not a weekend situation.
Yeah.
And
and you can make a living over
yeah,
there.
that's right. And not saying that I've made fortunes over there rodeoing by any means, because I'd only be lying. But I made enough to live, go down the road, and go to the next one. That's for damn sure, and get by. And whoever doesn't know, that's enough to travel around pretty much America and Canada. So, I want enough to keep going. And I wouldn't say I come back with millions of dollars either. But yeah, want enough to keep going. And I think the American way with the rodeo society, not, well, if that's the right word, but I think they got a massive following as far as just the day-to-day kind of people. And I love how they broadcast. There's people that follow the horses and the bulls, maybe, and the Cowboys. So it's like a football game. Like, everyone's goes for their team, and then some go for the Cowboys, some go for the Buck, and also the Bulls. So I think that's kind of a neat situation. Even talking to the people that I come across to when I was broken down or something, they always followed something of it, or knew someone and was connected some way or another in it. And I think that's kind of the difference in between here and there. And obviously they broadcast every night on the Cowboy Channel, and the Cowboy Channel has been massive. Very successful thing as far as promoting the Cowboys and the way of the Western world. It's been very good, and credit to the Cowboy Channel. And if you're watching or listening to this, jump on the Cowboy Channel and obviously have a look at what they do, and it's great. It's a really cool thing. So I think that's been obviously a massive boost in that side of it, and broadcasting across obviously the USA and the world. So it's been pretty cool.
But it's a funny story about that. The only channel that we've actually got connected in our house is the Cowboy Channel.
That's a good one to have. I don't even have a TV, so you're winning. You're winning over me, man.
So I had to take care of me little nieces.
Yeah.
So I did come in. I was like, "You want to watch TV?" And they're like, "Yeah." And I was like, "What do you want to watch? Barrel racing or bucking horses or bulls?"
That's awesome.
This is all you
That's how
got to
it should
choose
be, yeah.
from.
Cool. Yeah, that is cool. I can hang.
they always choose a barrel racing, but
Oh, yeah.
I never took offense
God
to
bless him. Jesus.
it.
Can't be doing that. You need to teach him something.
The one thing I did like about like when I went over to America, not just for rodeo but for tattooing and other stuff, was the way they approach stuff. In Australia, it feels like everybody has to have something to fall back on.
Mm-hmm.
But over there, they don't think like that.
No, they don't.
It's like, I want to be a bareback rider. Cool.
That's what you
This
do.
is what we're doing. This is
And
how
you
you're
don't
gonna
do
do
anything
it.
else, man.
Yeah.
And I think, well, for my side of it, that's what I lacked.
Mm.
I lacked that mindset because I always knew I didn't rodeo for the money, and I got to, you know, I got around them guys, and I got kind of talking to a few guys, and like Ken Hay and Taylor Broussard and Bradley Miller, we rodeoed with them guys a bit, and I think we're at Cheyenne. We got Jan, and I remember them guys that they're just fully set on rodeoing. They didn't care about what was going to happen afterwards. And they're like just built cowboy, like that way inclined their mindset. And I was always like, fuck, I got to get home and build a fucking empire. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, I'm going to be broke for the rest of my life living in some fucking trailer house, you know? And I think that's like, that's how they are so elite. And that's what I really admire about them guys. They don't fucking stop. They don't quit because that's just how they think. They don't think past that. And that's why they get so elite at what they do. And credit to them. I just think probably my side of thinking, we're like for Australia side, we're not built like that. I don't know why. Maybe it's just our society or how we're brought up, but we're not like that. You know what I mean? And we've got a very massive working society in Australia, and you notice that when you're over there because they don't like. I'm not bad noting them, but they are just fully dedicated on what they do. They don't have like side hustles and stuff.
Nah.
They're just full cowboys, and I love it. I think it's so cool. But for me, I couldn't do it. You know what I mean? And that's what I really noticed that a lot. Hey, I really did. And did you notice that too?
I'm the same with that because like I do so much. Like I've got a bit going on everywhere.
Fingers and
Like
pies
I got,
everywhere.
I got me tattoo on. I got this and like then the podcast stuff and whatever. Like I'm just always doing something. Always thinking about something, and I always think back at stuff, and I'm like, could I have done a lot more if I just had that mindset where I just tattoos nonstop or whatever and didn't do
and
nothing
where
else.
what the upper limits could that come of that? Yeah, for sure.
But then we're all just built different, and the way I do it, I enjoy everything I do, and nothing's forced. So I just keep doing it that way, and I enjoy it. So I guess there's no right and wrong, but probably never going to be a world champion at something probably due to that fact.
Yeah, 100%.
Because there's only them elite guys and they're obsessed.
Yeah.
Like that to be the best in the world at anything, you can't care about nothing else.
No, exactly. And you're dead right. And I think what I was talking to my girlfriend about this, and it's like choose your poison a bit, you know, because like you either have it now and not have it later, or have it later and not have it now. and that really hits home to me, like, and that really makes me like, oh shit, I better get fucking rocking here, you know. For me, and obviously that's in building cattle empire. Obviously that's for what I was wanting to do, and you get thinking about it late at night, and it's just like it really bugs me that I can't have their mindset. Well, I can, but it's not in me to have that kind of mindset where it's just like fuck everything else. I'm just going to ride bareback horses until I am a fucking world champion. And they don't. I love how they don't see past it. Yeah, and maybe that's like what, like on a personal level, I lack that. Sometimes I think I lack that. I didn't lack that for Australian because I could still come home and work and kind of still work on my goals at home and then go rodeo on. And that's like, I think for the overseas thing too, it's like we have to work fucking our asses off to get there, just to get there, right? with the exchange rate and all the shit, like the visas and all that. So it's like such a big ordeal just to get into that country. And then we got to fucking ramp it up again and to be good at what we do. And it's a lot. Like, and credit to Damien Brennan and Jack Finlay and Kai Hamilton, sorry. And them boys that are over there actually making it big time. And, credit to them fellas because it takes a lot to do what they do, and it might look all good on social medias and I when Breno made the finals and I said all that hard work and the final the driving, the long nights that people don't see, and it's all paid off for him and he's like, yeah, that's the shit that people don't see and it's so true, and like them guys, credit to them, like because that takes a lot of dedication, and especially not being from that country, they're in another world. And they've got to ramp it up again just to get to that elite level. And, I don't know what my future holds, but I reckon it would take me a lot to put everything on the back burn here to overcome.
To do that.
Yeah, overcome that. And not saying it's impossible and I might do it just yet, but it's just one of them things like when you actually have done it, I think how hard it actually is to be over there and to do that. And as Kai won the world this year, and that's only been done by one other guy, I think, in the bull riding. Troy, and I bet if
he was the first Australian to ever win a PRCA
world title. Yeah, exactly.
In the bull riding.
In the bull riding,
we've done it
in the bareback riding, I think, in the saddle bronc maybe too. But and there's some been great cowboys. Like Scott Johnson and David Appleton and all them great cowboys that have come from Australia, you always find same thing. They would have paid the price for their greatness and their success. They would have paid the price, whether it's now or then or beforehand. They would have paid some price, and that goes over the board with anything. I believe that if you want to be elite, nothing comes free. And everyone thinks on social media and all that, and that it's all like the best life, and it looks good. It looks fun. And don't get me wrong, being a cowboy, rodeo cowboy is fucking pretty badass. But it comes at a price. Like also being successful, whether it's business or financial or whatever, that all comes at a price. And to play the cowboy game, it comes at a price. We all know that. Because, obviously we're not all walking around with fucking chains hanging off our neck and watches, Rolex watches and stuff, you know what I mean? Like, and there's only a few guys that actually really do very well financially out of it, and credit to them guys, right? But I think, whatever domain it is, whether it's rodeo or business or financial or whatever, I think everyone wants to be that person until it's time to pay that price. And I think that's a kind of cool thing to know, because choose your poison properly, because if you want something, you'll pay the price. And I think everyone understands that on a personal level in some sense. You know what I mean?
You look at like Kai, like awesome, he's done it, won a world, all that. But you imagine like he's been over there for years.
Yeah,
you man of birthdays, everything he's missed
he's
out
lost
on.
out, yeah.
All these family events that he can never get back. But to get that.
Yeah, 100%.
So like you're saying, like, yeah, you can have it, but also do you want to be super involved in everything else?
Exactly.
Or do you want to be there doing it? Like,
and look at him at the finals this year. Like he set it on fire. And the guy's a tough son of a bitch. And like, we're all tough as well. He's not just the one out, but he obviously kept riding, and he got rewarded for his toughness. He got rewarded for the time he spent on the road. He's got rewarded for all the time that he's probably missed his mum and dad's birthdays and his own birthdays. And it's good to see someone get rewarded for that, because for Australian person and Damien Brennan and Jake Finlay, they all will miss out on stuff, and you hope they make it, which obviously Brenno's made the finals now, and he's probably going to be a world champion. And that's probably no one's doubts in mind. He's one of the best saddle bronc riders in the world at the moment, and Jake's not far behind him. Like, they're good cowboys, and you just hope that they don't put all that shit behind to not make it. You know what I mean? And that's probably a fear in every cowboy coming from Australia to go over there.
And I think that trails back to probably the mindset that's bred into us
100%
from younger. Like that over in the States, they don't have that.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
You do it and you do it full fucking noise, and you don't give a fuck about nothing
100%.
else.
And that's why, as we're talking about, I think, it's more harder for Kai, and it's more harder for Breno, and it's more harder for Jake to go there And there's a lot of other cowboys that are made, like Jamie Howlett and Straub Jones, and they're over there being elite too. But I think it's more harder for them boys because they're not in their own backyard. They don't get to go home to their families. And like that's just, I think when an Australian guy or a Brazilian or a Mexican or whatever makes it, it's more, or a Canadian even, because they got to come down too. It's more of a milestone for them to actually make it because they're not in their comfort zone. They're not even in a country that speaks their own kind of language. Some of them, you know what I mean. So I think, and that's not dissing the Cowboys that come from America because they're all elite too. But I feel like from my point of view, they got like Kai making it this year and Breno made the finals. Like fuck, that's a fucking massive achievement.
Huge.
And credit to them boys and shout them out for it because like that's a fucking good deal and they would have had to put a lot on the line for that. And I think if they do listen to this, I think they will agree with me. Yeah.
And I think that's a side that a lot of people don't realize because, well, a lot of people probably don't even care.
Yeah.
They're just like, oh yeah, look how much money he's made. It's like he's earned every cent of that.
Oh, and more.
Yeah.
Because you're not just earning money, you're putting your body
Yeah.
and your whole life at risk as well, for especially bull riding, right? And that's what the shit behind the scenes that don't see.
Yeah. Like they talk about like American football. Oh, we've got to do something. The amount of concussions. The rookies are making $1 million on their first contract.
Yeah.
Like
I just set up for life when they don't even fucking do anything for the rest of their life, really.
Yeah.
You know?
Our end goal to, if you're the best in the world, is to win $1 million.
100%.
So it's like it's totally different, and we cop it a lot harder than an NFL player will ever cop it with concussions and injuries. Like they talk about rodeo that medical professionals can only relate our injuries to car accidents.
Yeah, right. That's interesting. Yeah.
Like when they first got medical professionals in the PBR, they got sports professionals and couldn't do it. They needed like paramedics. There's people that actually seen like snap femurs and like lacerated livers and just crazy shit you would never see in other sports.
Yeah, for sure.
Or not in a lot of sports, motocross, and there's a select sort of few that you'd probably see really bad accidents.
And that's right, and that's what probably puts us aside to any other sport. And our sport is very it's a very individual sport because it's not like you can't really bullshit your way in, right? You can't just be like, oh yeah, we're the fucking best team because you ain't got one, right? You know what I'm saying? Like you got no 50 other guys standing behind you. Like if you kind of draw the cards of what you do, and that's kind of neat about our sport. It kind of really separates the sporting side of it besides the rest of the sporting society, and I think that's kind of cool. Like, you can't just say, oh, I'm the fucking best cowboy because you got to fucking show that up next day and the day after that and the day after that. And you can be at the top of your game one day and the next day you're nothing, and I think that's in the credit to the guys that can stay consistent and have a healthy body and keep right for the season, especially in the States. Like, and I see a lot of guys over there now, like Scotty Wells and Darcy Rattle, like they're doing really good. And they're keeping healthy, and obviously the other guys that we've spoken about before, and when you can keep healthy for that many rodeos, and probably they're all probably on some kind of training deal and take it pretty serious, and I think that's where they don't the outside world don't see it because we have to prepare like a lot of things in counter what could happen or may happen to get by.
Yeah,
and as I just said, like you can be leading the world and then get your knee blown out the next day and then you're out. And then whoever steps in your place is in the spotlight and you're still like kind of like, oh, he was going to be or whatever, you know what I'm saying? So I think that's what kind of separates us as no one to back us in for a rough stock cowboy anyway.
It's crazy to think, like, especially when we speak on the States, like the rodeos they do in the summer is pretty much our whole season in Australia.
Yeah.
Like the amount that they'll do.
And more, I think, to be honest. Like, I was talking to Bradley Miller and he was trying to make the NFL last year and I think he nearly did. But, he was like worried about his rodeo count, right? And them guys only get 100 rodeos. And I think he had to pull up, like, not the whole way through, he was like really picking what rodeos he went to because of the rodeo count. Like 100 rodeos comes around real goddamn quick when you're doing 4 a weekend or 5 a weekend. You know, some guys probably do that. I don't know, but like it's a lot of rodeos, but then it's not that much rodeo. You could probably do like 200 rodeos over there a whole year if they didn't have a count, maybe. You know, I don't know how many rodeos they do, but like it would be around 150 rodeos easily a year if they didn't have a count. And the people that don't know what the count is you're only allowed to do under 100 rodeos a year and then to make the NFR. So if you do over that, you get disqualified.
Yeah, wow.
And if you do 1 over or 10 over, it doesn't matter. Like it's so if you got to keep under that limit. Yep. So that's why you see a lot of them good cowboys to just really focus on what they pay. So they only go to them good paying rodeos and that's interesting.
Ozcan Rural, providing Southwest Victoria with everything related custom sheep and cattle yards. Get in touch with the fellas via email ozcanrural@gmail.com. That's AUS, can like the one you drink, rural@gmail.com. Building fences straighter than your local politician. Outback Drover Co. Australian stockman wear. I've got one of their work shirts on right now and I love it. Go check out their new range of work and casual wear at outbackdroverco.com. Embrace the outback, wear the drover. Because I seen like Sage Kimsey when he first won his world or made the finals and then won a world. And then within probably 4 years, he would only do like 30 or 40 rodeos. Because he was hitting
and he's probably getting to the NFR still.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you see, like Casey Fields, he used to do that. Like, I think, like, actually, when the year he missed out on the finals was when I was there. But, yeah, like, they'll do, like, not that many rodeos where them other cowboys are doing 100 to make the finals, but they're doing, like, 70 or 80. Sometimes probably, I don't know how many, but they might do less, you know? Yeah. And, like, that's kind of fucking badass, I think, you know, like, when they can show up and win, you know, crazy amounts of money and like not that many rodeos where the other boys are just busting their ass to make that finals, you know.
Did you find a difference in the bucking horses from Australia to the US?
Oh, 100%. And I think like obviously like you see a lot of good horses there. There's a lot of colts and stuff and you know they've got to get ridden just as much as the good horses too because that's what obviously the next generation of bucking horse comes through. But when you get to the good rodeos, the big rodeos, like every single horse you can win on, and that's when you add a rodeo that is big and you make the short go and you get on all the good ones, I think this is fucking badass because like any guy can win it, and you sometimes like I made the short go at Granbury, Texas, which is probably the biggest rodeo I ever won, and every single horse was like high 80s or 90s, you know, and just to get on them caliber of horses is awesome. I think I can't remember who was first, but the second horse was Keenan Hay, and he come out and be 90 on a horse before me, and all the boys like, you're gonna have to go, and Bradley's like, this horse is a bucking son of a bitch, and I was like, well, I'll unstrap my rig and like get me on it, I'm keen, like, and I ended up coming out being 91 and a half, and that was badass, and in the short, like in the long goes, sorry, all the like there was some great cowboys, and I think it was like Chad Rutherford was like 80 something, and there was a fair few good cowboys that were, you know, 80s, and I was 87, and I was leading the long go, and Rocker come out and been 88 after me or a re-ride, and he was 88, and I was 87 and a half, and then we all went into the short go, and that was the time I won a gun, like I won this pistol.
I seen the photo.
Yeah, seen the photo. So that was like, I remember when Keenan was 90. Jaco was up there too. Jaco Roper, which is another great bareback rider over there. And then I remember Keenan come out and be 90, and I was like, holy damn, like these boys, like obviously they're elite, but these guys are turning it on. And then I was like, fuck, I'm going to have to go here. And then end up winning it. And I was like, fuck. And then that's when I knew that like if I stayed here, I could do well, you know? Yeah. And I think, we were at Cheyenne, and Keenan came up to me and said, whatever you do, just keep riding, keep riding. And obviously he won the world this year. And Taylor Broussard says the same thing, like, just whatever you do, just keep doing what you're doing, because they'll notice you and you will make it. And that's what, it still fires me. And when I get back there, it'll be good.
So you're heading back there soon?
Yeah, I reckon we'll go back next year.
Yeah.
I've got a few things to work out this year, and just kind of get my cattle sorted and kind of get in a bit better financial position. And we'll go back, and it'd be good to do a full season next year. Yeah, I'd like to do that, because obviously youth is always not on our side. So you got to take the opportunity while they're there, and we're a long time working, right? So I think next year would be probably my plan, yeah.
And when you won the gun, was that probably your biggest achievement in the States?
I reckon, mate, for the time I was there, there was the top 40 bareback riders in the world there, or I shouldn't say that. There was 40 of very elite bareback. Like, there was a lot of good cowboys. Every cowboy was at the NFR this year. Like, they were all there, like Leighton, Rocker, and Jaco, and all the, like, there was a lot of other ones too. Don't get me wrong. And I think I wasn't not meant to be there, because obviously that I wasn't anything. Like, I was just scraping in to get normal rodeos, and someone I broke their leg or something. And they rang me, and I was like, oh, yeah. I thought I was actually going anyway, because how they enter over there, it's really hard to work out.
Yeah.
And that's how I actually got onto there. And then to come out and actually, that was my start, That was definitely my start. And that kind of opened my eyes up, and probably everybody else's too. And then, like, I think at Cheyenne, I rode well. Like, I was really happy for the way I rode. And it was a good horse too. And obviously them horses over there, they really get to show you off. And how I ride is a bit loose and wild and free with my, like, I'm not very connected with my feet. With anyone that knows, like, some people really hold against the horse's neck, but I'm always, like, very free. And the judges do like that, because it kind of, it shows that you're just out of control, but in control at the same time, I guess. And they kind of like that. So that's how I rode. And I feel like I rode really well at Cheyenne, and that was kind of cool. So I think definitely Granbury. It's actually just about to come on again this year, but that was probably the biggest achievement that season I done there. Yeah, for sure. Yep.
And how long did you stay there that time?
I was about 6, 7 months. Yeah.
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 And what was the reason to come home?
Well, actually, my visa didn't come through.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was probably, had to come home and get all my visa stuff put in place. It's all came through now, and I'm good to go. And as I was saying before, like, we had 300 head of cattle running everywhere on different blocks, and going broke real quick, and trying to run businesses over there. Like, I had a fencing crew at the time, and it all fell through, and kind of things went south financial as well, and that is hard that people don't see. And I'm not afraid to tell people that, because that's happened to every person that's ever tried to do anything, right? Like,
yeah.
That's not something to be ashamed of, I don't think, anyway. Like, I don't hide from it. So, like, I was in a bit of a jam, and we came home and kind of had to do something with these cattle. And I had about 1,000 acres of lease country I was paying for, and I was paying for it out of the rodeo money when I was there. So, and we had a fencing crew going, and it was kind of not really making its mark either. So I came home, and I'm glad I did, because it was, like, very mentally hard over there at that stage, because I was, like, wanting to get home so I can fix things.
Yeah.
And obviously there's a certain responsibility you have when you're in business and you owe money to people and do things. You got to get home and try to make it right. And I know, like, there's a lot of times that people probably don't think you're trying to, but your best intentions are to make it right, and you've got to take that responsibility on your shoulders and do something about it. Like, it's easy to run from it. Like, it would have been easy to stay in America and keep fucking rodeoing and
turn your phone off
and just to say fucking hell with it.
Yeah.
But I didn't, and I feel like what I was talking about earlier in the podcast is about having your shit in order, and that was, like, playing on me, and I started riding shit, and I thought, fuck, I gotta go sort my shit out.
Yeah.
And I can come back to this. I'm still got enough youth in me. Like, I've still got probably 2 or 3 years good rodeoing in me. I thought I'd go home and make it right. So I came back, and I'm still on that fucking pathway making it right.
Yeah.
And we're building a business, and with the cattle business, and making things in place where we'll be able to go over there and kind of enjoy ourselves and not worry about, fucking what's back home
Yeah.
pulling us down, at the same time. But that's just part of trying to do too much at once.
Mm.
That's what I've learnt too.
Yeah.
Like I was trying to run businesses on the other side of the fucking world. That's pretty
Yeah.
impossible. But
Yeah.
I feel like I'm grateful for that because I would have went, what if I actually tried to do that? I would have been able to make this much money when I was on the fucking road.
Yeah.
But if I never tried that, I would never known.
Mm.
But it didn't work, right? It all went to fuck. But it was good because I won't be sitting at home guessing myself about it. Like, at least I tried to make it, right? And that's how I think about it. And I try to keep it as positive.
Mm.
Yeah. I know it was pretty fucking shit, but, there's a lot of positives in every negative.
Mm.
You learn a lot along the
Yeah,
way.
because if you didn't do it, you always think, oh, it could have worked.
Yeah,
But then
and I
you
could have
know
stayed
that-
there and been world champion and made fucking heap of money back home and been living the life, but it just doesn't work like that. Or it probably, it probably
Can work
does.
for some, but
I
in
think
your
it does work
situation-
if you have things in place that are legit. But I wasn't a good enough business person and business minded to put that in place at that certain time. And not saying I am now, but I'm down that pathway where I'm very interested in learning how to make money while you can rodeo. And I think we were talking about this the other day when you rang me. Was it's very important for young people to know that you don't want to become a lazy cowboy.
Yeah.
Like it's sometimes it's cool you're hanging around fellas that like, oh fuck, I'm just gonna fucking ride bulls for a living.
Yeah, not
But we
work,
all know that that's like until you get to elite level, you can't actually do that. And I always remember Max McTaggart saying to me, you always don't want to be a lazy cowboy. You always want to work. And that's kind of what we're talking about before is like that's kind of bred into us over here by like, you always want to have something in the pot boiling after rodeo on, because, we're all going to be busted ass cowboys at one stage with nothing. But we don't want to end up with nothing. I think that's very important for me to end up with something. And it's very hard to, and I haven't really accomplished it yet, but I'm on the pathway to it, is accomplished it where you can have something but still be on the rodeo road. And that's very, very important. And I'm working on every single day. I really am. And I think that's my goal is to go to America and still come back to something that makes a good chunk of money so you can live off, you know what I mean? Because that's probably my ultimate goal really is to go over there and be a lead at rodeo, but also have a really good strong financial business back home. And I don't, when I say that, it's not that I have that yet, but I'm working on it, you know what I mean? And that's probably my ultimate thing, you know what I mean?
Well, you just don't want to be a broke ass cowboy.
Well, that's
Like,
exactly right.
old,
And I
broken-
actually just refuse to. I don't care what anyone says. I just refuse to be that way. And I won't be. And I will make it regardless of any circumstances. At every hard time that I get, I will make it. And that's the way I think. And that's the way I thought with Rodeon. And that's the way I think it now with business and being something and buying my own farms and all that. I will make it. I just don't know when. It's going to come. I just don't know when. Yeah, that's just how I think. You know what I mean?
There's because we were speaking the other day about Clinton Anderson, like how we
100%.
both listen to his podcast.
Yep.
And there's, if you haven't listened to that, it's Clinton Anderson 2 on the Gauge. It's great,
Unreal.
especially anything
best.
to do with business in the Western world. I learn a lot from it that I've put into my businesses, like tattooing and other
Yep.
stuff. It's really great if you do yourself a favor and listen to it. But he speaks on that. You either like pick your poison with work your ass off now and get all your shit sorted and all that, or just work your 9 to 5, but you're working
For the rest of your life.
for the rest of your fucking
And you don't get
life.
retirement.
No.
You're fucking,
And-
you're
and
that
when you do
70-year-old guy
retire,
still fucking poking
like-
for a 15-year-old that's out beating you, you know?
Like Red Lobster's the fanciest thing you're gonna do when you're retired if you
100%.
stick to that. Like,
Yeah.
and I think when you're speaking of that, it reminded me of that. Like that, yeah, you still want to rodeo, but you got to set up your future too.
Yeah, and it's either in you or not, right? Like for especially cowboys, it's either you either got that passion to be something, like not. I mean, this is business wise and financial probably. It's either in you or you're not, and the people that probably make it that haven't got that.
Yeah.
You know, and that's probably the cold hard fact of that, right? The people that fucking win the worlds and have all the trophy buckles probably don't really have the desire to be a millionaire by this certain age and retire by a certain age. But for me, and probably yourself, is we're on a different pathway than that, and I don't shy away from it. I don't, and I get a little bit of slack of how I think like that, but I know for a fact that my kids and my family will remember that I put sacrifice for a lot of things, and same with what we're talking about, Kai and them boys sacrificing, and they'll remember it for forever. But I ain't gonna be the broke ass cowboy that can't feed me kids. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't gonna be the person that fucking can't, go on a holiday or whatever. And I'm still happy for what I've achieved, and it's not over yet either. But I just refuse to be that way. And I think I love the podcast with Clinton is there's just not enough hours in the day to be rich with your own two hands. And if you can think about that and put that in place, that is actually so true. And I love how he's very authentic and he says how it is. Like, obviously, if you listen to the podcast, just, be aware there's a lot of cussing and swearing going on. But credit to him, because that is obviously the Australian language, and that's how we are. And as you said, you can relate to that because that's how our parents talk.
Yeah.
And that's probably not the best thing to say, but it's actually fucking true, you know? And we relate to how he talks. And I just get a kick out of him because obviously he has made it, and he's got his own ways, don't get me wrong, like anyone else, and he probably got a lot of slack for it too. But I got a lot of time to listen to that podcast over and over again, and you learn something new every time.
Yeah, because like how you said, it sunk in with me, because if I listen to a podcast with someone that's extremely intelligent and really knows business, he won't speak in a way that it's really going to sink in for me. I'm probably not intelligent enough.
Because they're educated so much, they don't know. They use words that we don't even know, right? And he's just fucking raw.
He's like, fuck, shit.
Yep.
Suck an old lady's dick and all this fucking crazy
all this crazy shit. You think, fuck, that's funny, but that's what we would both say, you know? And he's right too. Like, credit to him. And I love how he's like very big on marketing. And I think he says on that podcast, he's like, how much did you spend on marketing, motherfucker? And they're the people that are fucking bad knowing him, but he's the one who's fucking making the money. Yeah. And it's dead true. So like any person that wants to be successful, I think build a brand and be consistent with it. And I don't know too much about building a brand. Obviously, we've all got a brand in our own way, but I think that's a very important thing. And if you can build a brand and probably over the board be successful, whether it is rodeoing or selling cattle or fencing or tattooing or boxing or whatever it is, people will have a following after that because you're probably your own person. And I think it's kind of important to build that brand, whether it is on social media or in real life. Like, people are known for how happy they are, or the handshake, or he's very, looks after us. That's a brand in a way, that's who you are. And I think that's kind of cool to amplify that in lots of areas of your life. I think, don't you think?
100%. Yeah, with all that stuff. And it's I got so much from his podcast.
Oh man, it's cool.
It's a piss. Even the first one was good. First one's probably a bit more about like breaking and he
like horsemanship side of it.
I don't have a lot of interest in that, but I got a hell of a lot out of the second one, which was more business side.
For sure.
Because like, to be honest, like, grew up on a farm and that, I never really had a lot of good business influence.
100%.
Like,
and no farmers really do.
Yeah.
Like, we're just, my fucking grandfather did this in 1800s. It surely will work in 2024. Well, it ain't gonna.
It's like, I grew up just, you rob Peter to pay Paul. Like, never really had much. Like, going through droughts and you just don't know how you're going to pay nothing, and always make it work and always work your ass off and never stop. But I'm like, there's got to be a better way, like, of like sorting it out, that you're not just constantly going
chasing
around
your
in
tail.
circles and getting nowhere. Like,
and I think it's a good thing to recognise, like, as far as probably farming and that goes, it's got a lot to do with that. And farming is it's agricultural businesses over the board is a hard yakka. Like it's not easy,
No.
right? And it's very hard when you're, especially being a beef or sheep production, that you can't calculate in what you're going to make this year. You can't calculate the rain or the crop or whatever it may be, and that's like it is really just a big gamble. And I think the farmers don't get enough credit for that, because when they do pull it off, like, credit to them, you know what I mean? Like, and I think it's important for like us, our generation, and probably and yours, because you're a little bit older than me, not much, but like I think it's very important for self-education in that domain. And I think we're so lucky and blessed nowadays that we have it all on the touch of our phones and stuff like that.
Social media
Is a
YouTube
massive thing, right? And even just listen, there's a farmer podcast and stuff, and I listen to that sometimes, and just what they talk about. And obviously it's American, but you can kind of relate to it in ways. And I think that's why we've got to, switch our way of thinking over making money, because we can get so much information that then people couldn't back then.
Yeah.
And we don't even have to leave our own farm. We don't even have to leave our own house. Like, we can sit on the freaking phone and get more information. Whether that's a good or bad thing, I don't know. But we can get any information pretty much, if it's right or wrong. But, we can really self-educate in the right direction that we want to go down.
Well, when I started, because I freeze brand all my cattle, but we've never freeze brand before.
Yep.
Knew nothing about it. I
Hot
just
branding or just
freeze brand?
Yeah, but beforehand, hot branding, or not, just none branding at all?
No branding.
Just
at
freeze
all.
branding now. Yeah, right. Just a new thing.
Yeah, so I
Yep.
just wanted to freeze brand all my cattle just because, and because I had to, because the ABBI, you have to have everything branded.
Okay.
And in Victoria, you can't hot brand. So
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And so I knew nothing about that, and I just YouTubed it.
Mm-hmm.
And learned everything I need to know.
And you probably learn the rules and regs that goes with it, right? Yeah.
And so I watched a 10-minute YouTube video, and then all of a sudden, brand all my cattle, and it's a piece of piss.
And that's why I don't have any time that says, them fuckers that say, I can't do this or I can't do that. You got no excuse now.
Yeah.
You got no excuse to start that business. You got no excuse to be not successful. Like, we all should be like fucking world beaters. You know what I'm saying? Like, for all the shit that we have.
Information.
And I think that's only like, and you can relate to anyone that's like, 25 or older can really relate to that. That's only just come in the last, say, probably 15 years, like really heavily. Maybe not even 10, maybe,
And especially in niche stuff like that
100%.
someone's actually going to make a video.
Yeah. And you can actually get something out of it. Like, obviously there's a lot of shit on the internet now, and that can be used in the wrong ways. But I believe that anyone that's starting a business or starting even just rodeoing, actually, to be honest, to learn how to, put a lather go together, or set your rigging up, or set your bull rope up, or even to fucking anything really. Well, it's actually anything.
Yeah.
There's no excuse to get the fundamentals down on what you're doing. Don't you think? Or,
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And like, I know that with, and I noticed that with like the country side of it, there's a lot of stuff that people will just expect
100%.
And then a lot of people will get embarrassed and they won't ask because it's like freeze brand, and some people are like, oh, you should know. I don't give a fuck. I didn't know. So I just look it up, bang, all the info's there. I can do it.
Yeah.
Piece of piss.
And that probably goes across the board, where it's like, don't be too good for yourself to shoot low for yourself. You know what I mean? Like, it's okay to not know. And it's okay to ask. It's okay to Google and say, hey, motherfucker, I didn't know this. I Googled it and look what I found. And people are like, oh, you're a fuckwit because you Googled it, you didn't know. But like, if you don't know, don't be don't feel like you're the only one that doesn't know.
Yeah.
And don't be too proud to do that. And don't be too proud to ask someone for help, whether it is rodeo, whether it's business, or doing whatever domain of sport you do, or it doesn't have to be a sport, but whatever it is, don't be too proud, or don't be scared to ask anyone, because any young person that does ask and it shows a bit of interest, 99% of the people will actually help them.
Yeah. 100%.
And the people that don't help them, well, you don't want to fucking know them anyway, right? So that's just how it works. So for a young guy, whether it is starting rodeoing, where it's, even asking me and Bennett to help, like, we would never turn anyone down, regardless of who they are or what they look like.
And that's like, I can, all the stuff that's some people are like, oh, shit just happens for you. I was like, No, because I'm not afraid to put myself out there.
Yep.
Like I've fallen flat on my face more times than I could count.
Mm-hmm.
But I've never thought of myself as anything.
Yep.
I'll just put myself out there and then like ask anyone. I don't care if I look stupid. I didn't know it and I'll ask it.
Yep.
I'll move on.
Well, question's the only dumb question for the first time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Then you're not dumb.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I think not thinking you're too good or being too good, like I'll put myself out there and I don't care if I look stupid. Like
Yeah.
I'll get out there and do it. And
Yeah.
there might even people say like, oh, what's he doing this podcast? I don't give a fuck. Like
Yeah.
I know a lot of awesome people that have great stuff to tell, and I hope people can get a good message and learn
Relate
a lot
to
of
that.
good
Yeah.
stuff from it.
For sure.
And then if they think I'm a dickhead, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
I think there's a better bit in it.
100%. And I think it's very important to realize you've got to be an idiot to do anything. Like, you know what I mean? You can't just go, oh, I fucking know it. I'm just going to jump into that and be elite straight away.
Yeah.
Like, you actually got to probably look to be an idiot first. You probably would want to be an idiot. If you're not, well, you're in the wrong fucking room. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, 100%.
so probably nurture that in a way, like, and use that to your event. Oh, sorry, mate, I don't know. Can you help me? And you actually get more out of being an idiot. Like, not being an idiot, but like saying you don't know. Yeah, idiot's not the right word. Being like probably forthrightly saying you don't know about anything, and you'll get more out of that than thinking you know something. And I think that's a really good thing for anyone in any domain to take on board.
Because every time anyone asks me about something, or even young fellas, oh, Bennett, can you pull me rope? I get a buzz from it.
Yeah.
I think, because I know that like they must look at me that they think I'm something enough to even ask me. So I really
Get
like
a little bit of
that.
chuckle
And-
out of that. Yeah, for sure, man.
and I take pride in that because like whatever I do in rodeo, but I always try to present myself in a certain way and just try to be good to everyone that be's just to be good.
Yep.
Like that's the way I was brought up.
100%.
And so little stuff like that, when people ask me, I get a buzz from
Yeah.
it, and I think it's cool.
And obviously you want to have a trademark that as it be, as you know, people say that guy's a good person. You know, he might not have everything that everybody wants, but he's a good enough person to go out of his way to help that young guy or girl, whatever it is, or even an older person that doesn't, you know anything and shows up to the rodeo and get a midnight crisis, want to get on a bull. You know, everyone's like, oh, this dickhead. But even just to be a genuine good person, and it doesn't matter what sport you're in, or it doesn't even have to be a sport. You want to promote that in yourself just as much for everybody else, and kind of be that person that someone isn't afraid to ask, or everyone knows, oh, that guy will help you if you ask him, because this kid over here asked him, and he didn't even know he was actually wearing a skate shoes and a hat backwards, and went to Bennett's and got on the bull, and look at him now, he's making the finals or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So I think that's a good trademark to have in my point of view, anyway.
Yeah, I think like you hear some people, oh, he put his rope on backwards and take the piss out. And it's like,
We'll help
I
him.
was that person.
Go and set
Like,
it up for him, mate. Yeah, exactly.
But the first few times I was putting on bull ropes, I was putting them on backwards. Fucking, I don't fucking know. Help them.
Yeah,
Like,
and show him, teach him. And even if you don't know, just teach him.
because you're a person a lot longer than you're a rodeo cowboy.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
there's a 10, 20 year window to be that, and hopefully we live to 80.
Yeah.
So you're a good person for a lot longer than you are a rodeo cowboy.
Yeah, for sure. And I actually was in last week. I went to Longreach to get some dogs and some working dogs, and I went to a station where there was a family, and they knew who I was and what I've done and whatever else, and maybe just because of social media, but not on a personal level. And I said to them, you all your gold buckles and your saddles, they'll get forgotten about, but if you're a good guy, you won't get forgotten about. And that's an important thing to hold yourself credit to, because that will last out a lifetime, you know. Yeah, for sure.
And we didn't really speak on you. You're big on your dogs.
Yeah. So
You love your dogs.
I'm very passionate about the working dogs, and probably because I got brought up with, you know, our family's got 25 too many working dogs. You know what I'm saying? Like we got dogs tied up under every freaking tussock and tree, you know. So we grew up that way. Dad's always had a lot of dogs, and Dad's brothers and our family and my sisters, and we all had a lot of dogs. We all probably got 100 dogs in amongst us all, you know. Like it's a bit out of control, actually, to be honest. But so yeah, I've taken it like probably over in the last probably 10 years. Only because I started having my own cattle and fascinated with the genetics and the natural ability of a dog to work. It's the same as a good horse, and you get a good horse that wants to stop, that fucker will stop, and you can get it stopping good. And working a cow, or is it a horse or a dog to work a cow? It always fascinated me how you know, it's a natural thing in their genetics that they do, and to be able to work with them and train them is a pretty neat thing. So I think for dogs, for me, is obviously a tool. And just recently that I was telling you about putting the cattle on the road, I ended up running some cattle in the high country that our family hasn't done for a fair while, but I ended up putting some up there this year and on our family leases. And them dogs, you know, I wouldn't be able to get them cattle out of the bush without the dogs, you know. Yeah. And it's that thick that you got to get off your horse to ride through it, and steep as you can't ride up it. So them dogs are a very massive part of our day-to-day. You
can do it without
100%. And I think I've been blessed to be around people that have good dogs, and I was actually on the way down here, I was talking to a fellow called Tom McCallum. Shout out Tommy, he's been good to me over the years, but he actually taught me a lot about dog. We worked at a place called Oxley Station just out of Canamble together, and he taught me a lot how to actually start a dog, and I had a few dogs at that time, just starting to get into them at that time, and he showed me how to get one going. And you know, he said, he was on the phone today, and he's like, you know, I've been breeding all these dogs for 10 years, and I couldn't get nothing. I was about to throw it in the air, and I finally got the cross that I wanted, you know. And we, you know, in dog talk, we talked about them and how much cover and eye they have and whatnot. And it's a long process of getting good dogs. And
what sort of breed of dogs are you running?
So I run a few different breeds, a few crossbreds. Like got a bit of touch of bulldog in them, like cross with a collie. And then I got a few straight collies. And I've only just started getting to the actual registered collies lately. Just kind of took a liking in kind of the paper side of it, and listened to stock handlers on Spotify. If you ever want to listen to any dog deal, jump over to them guys. They're stock handlers, and it's good. It's a good listen. And so I started listening to that podcast and got a bit of an idea of what dogs, like the breed of them, and kind of, fascinated of like kind of more so straight bred dogs. So the collies are my kind of thing. Dad's always had collies, but he never had registered collies. So I'm just starting getting that. And I went up to a fellow called Lance Anderson, which is a lot of people will know, very well respected pole cross player and camp drafter and a dogman. And he had some border collies there that actually were crossed with kelpies, but a very good dog that another fellow has. And I just was astounded of how he can get them dogs to do things, like he was sitting them on drums and making them do things that I was like, how did he do that? And I remember when I was young, I was driving some cattle with him up to Dargo High Plains. We were taking a mob of cattle up there for treasures, and he had all these dogs, and he'd sit one and send one, and I was how does he do that? And all these other dogs are sitting and doing what they're told, and this other one's just working, and my dogs would be running the fucking one would be through the mob and splitting it upside down and back to front. So I was always like, that's pretty neat, and he's a good hand. And and then recently I got in touch with Hamish Dixon, which is another dog fella, and we just, it's good to yarn to them fellas and see what they're doing with their dogs. And when you start talking to them elite dog fellas, they're just like, oh, well, my dogs are shit, like my dogs can't do half of what their pups are even doing at this stage. So I think it's like rodeo or whatever you do. It's like it's never, there's no upper limits to it. So that's what I probably like about it. And obviously for the work side of it, and I like to educate cattle with them. That's a kind of a very passion of mine, like a good passion that I'm starting to become a better stockman because of better dogs and learning how to let the dogs just work and then kind of get a command for that, like letting a dog be a dog and then learning how to teach that dog to do what it's already doing but put a command to it. And that's a very interesting thing, and obviously I'd love to probably go above and beyond of what I actually know already, and hanging around Lance and Hamish and a few other fellas that I know, you can figure out, well, my dogs actually can do what the dogs are doing. You just got to learn yourself. It's in self-education, which is a massive part of anything you do. So that's kind of been cool, and I've got right stuck into that lately. So, yeah, that's a big thing, and it's kind of very neat, and I feel like when you've got land, you got cattle, and when you got cattle, you got dogs, and where there's dogs, you need a horse. So that's kind of right down my alley, So that's kind of, definitely what I've been up to lately, yeah.
So you pretty much covering it all in the cowboy scene. You got the dogs, the horses.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, exactly. And I think that's actually a very important thing. Touching on the cowboy side of things is not just being a bull rider, not just being a bareback rider, is being a fucking cowboy, and knowing how to get a mob of cattle out, or whether it's tie one up or put load of Sammy or whatever it has to be, and like being an actual cowboy is what I've always cherished, not just being a rodeo cowboy. It's like learning how to rope a calf, learning how to doctor something, learning what drugs you got to give to a sick one, and being an actual cowboy. I think that's something that I hold myself to every single day. And whether it's you're down the street or you're in amongst some fancy people, I always dress like a cowboy, and that's what I am. And I'm not going to change for nobody. And I think that's important because I don't see myself as a person that changes around different crowds, and I don't want to be that person that changes around. I'll be myself no matter what crowd I'm around. And that's the same out on the work front, like if it needs roping, I can rope it. If it needs doctoring, I can doctor it. If it needs learning how to grow grass, and I'm not that good at growing grass because I ain't got much, but I think that's something that we can all learn on. But, whether it's just farming in general, I think over the board being a cowboy means a lot more than just getting on a bucking horse and spur it down too, or a bull rider or whatever it is. And I think that's kind of unique when you can be that person, and I'm always constantly working on it, yeah.
That's what I love it about, I've got a few people around here, anything that I'm not sure about, I can call them.
Yeah.
And they just know everything. They obviously a lot more senior, but I think that's cool. And I'm like a sponge like that, like just anything. It's just that information's like gold.
100%. And it's stuff that you can't even think of. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's 70 years of living that they've got another 40 on us, or 50, It's kind of cool when you can turn to people that are hands. And I think that goes with the rodeo side of it, for any young kid that's starting out. You are who you hang with. And don't just fit into a crowd because it's easy. Like, it's okay to be a little bit different. And whether it is just farming, as what you're saying, is ringing somebody, but have them good connections and build a good, strong network. You don't have to be friends with that guy forever or, very close friends, but you can be close enough where you're hanging with them good guys, and that will make you good. If you hang with 6 good guys, you're going to be 7. And if you hang with world champions, you're going to be a world champion. If you hang with good farmers and very well-educated people, you're probably going to be an educated farmer. Yeah. Or an educated cattleman.
Yeah, it goes for everything.
It just works over the board, whether you're an accountant or a painter or a football player. Like, if you surround yourself with shit people, you're going to be shit.
Yeah.
If you surround yourself with good and you just wait, you will be a good son of a bitch, And I think that's a very important thing that people don't enforce enough with young guys. And I think for the young guy side of it coming through, know that you got to prove your colours too. You can't just go, I'm going to hang with these fuckers.
Yeah.
Like, you got to and work hard at it to get in that group. And it's okay to work hard and struggle for a little bit, but know that to work hard, you'll get noticed. And for anyone that's coming through the rodeo side, and probably you and definitely me, I worked hard to get to what I've got now. And that is a good lesson in itself, because you become somebody that you never could otherwise to become around them people. You know what I mean? And to be a leader, what you do is surrounding yourself with good people, and that's a very important lesson, I think. Yeah.
Well, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on, Luke.
Yeah, no, thank you very
And
much, mate. It's been
Thank you
good.
very
I
much.
enjoyed it.
And in a year or a couple of years' time, we'll have to get you
Do it
back
again.
on and
Yeah, for
do it
sure.
all again.
That would be
And,
pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah, best of luck to everything in the future.
Yeah, cool. Thank you.
And yeah, like and subscribe on YouTube. It helps us out. And thank you very much.